Alright, what's up guys? My good friend Ray, she has uploaded a video titled Shane Dawson Exposed by Garrett Watts. I don't know who Garrett Watts is. I'm curious about, dang, 112 dislikes. Why does Ray, she be getting some dislikes? I'm like, what does she do? She's only reporting on this stuff, man. Like, everybody be getting mad on her for things. I'm like, yo, y'all need to chill. Y'all better leave Ray alone before I do. I think that's what I am gonna have to do. I'm gonna do like a reenacted version of that Leave Britney Alone, but it's Leave Ray Alone. I'm saying y'all just be messing with this girl for no. It's probably like some Trisha Paytas fans. Like, y'all need to chill. Leave that girl alone. Like, she didn't even do nothing when you think about it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this video, guys. Make sure you go make sure you go support, show love, do whatever to my friend Ray on her Hot Tea channel, her Ray Rahimi channel, and her Build Your Pocket channel, and also follow her on social media. Show her love anywhere. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this video. There we go. I left my other water over there.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where we spill tea left, right, and everywhere in between. In today's spilling sesh, we are talking about the Kardashians' creepy FaceTime video.
I know, I seen that. I was all like, what's up with that? Like, is it like I don't know, they releasing something and that's why they're doing that? It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't understand it, so I'm gonna have to like have somebody explain it to me. I know it has to mean something, like they're most likely coming out with something and then that's just their way of promoting it and stuff. But there's just weird ways of promoting whatever you coming out with.
And Shane Dawson, like always, and, well, TMossBoss being TMossBoss. But before we dive in, let me stop you right there and make sure you guys subscribe. If you haven't, turn your post notifications on.
She's been at 139,000 subscribers for the longest. Like, y'all need to go subscribe.
Alright, so let's dive in. The first cup of tea for today is actually not that serious in comparison to previous topics we've covered, but it is a bit weird, and also the responses were quite hilarious, so here it goes. About a week ago, the Kardashian/Jenner clan made a video on TikTok where they pranked people by calling them on FaceTime.
Oh, it's a prank.
A bunch of celebrities were included, some of which were Travis Scott, Justin Bieber, Jennifer Lawrence, Jaden Smith, and others. They even called a few social media creators like James Charles, David Dobrik, and Addison Rae. Here's a clip.
If they had called me up doing that, I had picked up and then just looked at the phone and then probably just sat there and stared at them for a couple of seconds and then just been like, yeah, I'm not gonna be it. This might be a ritual and I don't want to be a part of it because I'm a Christian and I don't be fooling around with stuff like that. So yeah, I just hung up the phone. I'm like, I don't need this.
What is going on? Hello? First, I had to make sure it was real. What are you doing?
She's like, what is going on? I'm like, yo, is y'all phone broke? Like, you guys in a bad spot?
Oh, hey. That's fucking ridiculous. Wow.
You know he's gonna say something.
Can you see me?
Imagine getting called by the Kardashians and them sitting just like that. Like, I'd probably poop my pants or something.
I've been like, I don't know what you guys called me for, but I didn't do it. I would have thought that they were calling me to expose me on some stuff. I'm like, look, I did not do it. So I'm like, you guys can whatever evidence you got against me. See, that's what I'm like. I get in a very like defensive mode and some stuff like that. I'm like, I didn't do it. So I'm like, you can very well just go and call somebody else, but I'm like, you got the wrong person.
The reaction,
like, I just discovered that there's this like kid on YouTube that's going by the name MossBoss, and I'm like, that's probably who you got me confused with, but it ain't TMoss. I'm like, erase the T and that's who you looking for.
Twitter were hilarious, so here are a couple of my favorites. Moving on,
I
let's
was
talk
about to
about
get
some
serious.
of our permanent members on this channel. Yes, that's right, we're talking about Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star yet again. You know, for people who claim to not like getting into drama, they sure have been the main characters of T/drama channels lately. But anyway, we're going to be talking about Garrett Watts' shade towards Shane and his alleged hacked Instagram account. Also, we're going to look into the newest episode on Ryland's channel called The Sip. A featured guest was, you guessed it, Jafar Starfish. As many of you probably know, Garrett Watts is one of Shane's closest friends. We've seen him on many of Shane's videos, as well as his docuseries here on YouTube. Garrett also has his own YouTube channel, and as of recently, a podcast co-hosted by him and Andrew, who is Shane's video editor slash videographer. Both Garrett and Andrew have publicly distanced themselves from Shane. However, it is not confirmed whether or not they are close with him or work with him. Apparently, Garrett's Instagram got hacked, and a bunch of old photos of him and Shane had their captions changed to this: Universal Studios from open to close. I consumed my weight in butterbeer and I'm just butterbeer now. Please ignore the Krusty Clown and the Simpsons character in the middle. Throwback to like 16 hours ago when I was goofing in an arcade with this actual piece of garbage. Later on, he posted that his account got hacked and stated that somebody tried to stir the pot, saying, "Attention, if you've received a weird message from me or seen anything else weird via Instagram in the past 9 hours or so, please disregard. Just woke up to some wild activity / notifications and had to change my password because as I slept my account was accessed and they were trolling, projecting weird personal stuff / opinions onto my account, archiving old pics, commenting, tagging, changing captions, sending messages, someone trying to basically stir the pot."
That's what it's like. I wonder, like, a lot of times when these accounts be doing that, do you guys have like that 2-step verification? Because if they bypass that, I'm like, yo, we need like a 3, 4, 5-step verification. Like, we need, like, that's what I'm saying. That's really honestly what it needs to be. Like, it needs to be some sort of like 3D like facial recognition and stuff. Be like, hey, you know, like, just to verify that this is you, like, could you scan your face? Like, that's honestly what passwords need to be and stuff, instead of like typing it up. And I know it's like they'll probably find out a way to like bypass that too, but I'm just saying, like, they should figure out like a much more difficult and challenging way to you know, fix this stuff. Like, it, because to me, I'm like, yo, it just seems like that these guys be getting their accounts like hacked left and right, so it's just kind of, you know, weird. But anyways,
very strange and bad, and I now have my account on lock. Try to catch / correct / reset any changes now, and pardon the what the f inducing moments if y'all experience anything weird. Anyways, all is well, love y'all, and have an awesome Sunday. This could very well be true. However, some people speculated that he was just trying to be shady without getting the hate from Shane and Jeffree stans. Here are some of the comments of Def Noodle's video on the matter. Theory: Garrett posted those things on his hacked account himself so he could speak his mind without getting canceled by Shane stans. Honestly though, the Garrett thing seems like some you do when you were drunk and wake up like, oh shit, I gotta do damage control. I wish Garrett Watts actually posted those things, because the hacker wasn't wrong with those captions. Hacking is still wrong, of course. What do you guys think?
I know it just does seem like some like weird stuff to say. Like, if you are a hacker, usually hackers just say some old dumb stuff. They be all like, oh, follow this account or something, or they just say some old weird stuff. Like, I don't know, like, comparing this, because remember when Offset from Migos, when he said that he got hacked and he was saying like some sus things and some old weird stuff. Now that seems like some things that a hacker would say. And then plus all the other like previous times, like when hackers like have hacked somebody of like with like big social media power, usually, yeah, they've always said some weird stuff. So I just feel like, I don't know, to me, it didn't really come off as like something a hacker would say. So yeah, it does come off as somewhere it's like he could have been drunk and people was probably questioning him like, hey, what are you saying? Like, he probably was on like the verge of getting canceled, and he was just like, okay, let me just come out and say that I got hacked these like odd hours ago and stuff. And yeah, just you know, it wasn't me. So, yeah, like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm like, look, if you have something on your mind, just say it. Just overall say it and how you feel and things. Like, even though there's this one radio host that I've taken some inspiration from him, mainly just of how honest he is and you know, him just coming out and talking about things. But Charlemagne the God. Now, that guy, he has said some crazy things. He's done some crazy things. So I don't support everything that he does, but his honesty and him just coming out and saying how he feels, like, yeah, that's, I'm like, that's lays heavy on me and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, overall, if somebody were to ask me, like, how do I feel about this person, I'm like, I ain't gonna say some stuff like that, like, oh, I'm hanging out with this piece of garbage or any of that stuff. I'm like, I'm just not cool with that person anymore. So if people want to know, then there we go. So, but I just feel like saying things like that, I'm like, yeah, you had to been drunk and stuff. So, but anyways,
Secretly throwing shade, or was his account actually hacked? And
it don't
someone's
sound like
life
it was
started
hacked.
Up next on Shane and Jeffrey, like I mentioned previously, we're looking into Ryland's podcast and his newest episode featuring Jeffree Star. And just to briefly sum up what we've already covered about Shane these past few weeks, he basically allegedly returned to YouTube and all social media in this very calculated and planned way. Shane has posted a lot during the past month or so on his Instagram. He's liked photos, shouted out Trisha and Jeffree multiple times, and all of these posts were while he was emotional or had something very important to say or talk about, which, given the circumstances, is understandable, but having these posts so often and everything is just adding up in a way that people are not very keen on. As you know, Shane and Jeffree have been in hot water for a while, but one chose to stay silent for a longer period of time, and the other stayed silent till the noise stopped and came back like nothing happened. And a lot of people think that neither of them really addressed anything, didn't take any accountability, didn't apologize to the people who were hurt, and used the current tragedies to make themselves better in the public eyes. And now ex-fans and supporters
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, not so much as that I feel like it is something like that, but they don't want to be rude about it. Like, they're trying to put it in a polite way that they see themselves like better than the people that they talked about. So they see it as that, like, I'm not going to apologize because that's, you know, everybody's just going to think that, oh, they can come after me and do whatever, and I'm just supposed to, like, you know, apologize for it and stuff. So I do think that it's like, to anybody that they truly did hurt, like, people, they put them in bad spots and situations, they should apologize for it. But yeah, for the most part, I just think it's one of those things where it's like, you know, they see themselves as like high and powerful on social media, and apologizing is something that they don't really want on their record. So yeah, that's just how I see it. But anyways,
like, wait a minute, are we getting played all over again? Is Ryland's podcast the new Shane series where he fixes people's image?
Hold
and
on
makes
for
them
1
look
second,
like the victim?
Ray, I'm sorry, but there's some like sneaker related stuff going on, so just give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. Just had to discuss some things real quick. But anyways, okay, full attention on the video. Got it. Cool. We just gonna pretend like what I just did. Like, I just sat here for a few minutes, just, you know, discussing some things, but it's cool. We just gonna ignore that. We're gonna keep it rolling. But anyways,
it does really feel like Ryland is taking the role of showing the emotional, vulnerable side of Shane or Jeffree or even Trisha. Is this strategic? Is it what they genuinely think is the right move for them? They got criticized for valid reasons, but they're addressing it as hate, which brings the question of, do you actually realize why all of the drama you've been in has had negative effects on your reputation? For the episode itself that featured Jeffree, it was pretty much the same sad story of, oh my god, how did you handle all of that hate and drama? How did you manage to run your businesses? And so on. Nobody really acknowledged the situation that happened over the year. They did talk about other things happening in Jeffree's life, bringing their last episode that featured Shane and talking about dealing with loss and grieving. There is nothing wrong with that, but with everything else that they've posted and showed, it really leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It feels strategic and planned, but that of course is all alleged. Tell me how you guys feel about this. Do you think Shane should come back full force, or does he still have some addressing to do? And lastly, we're going to be talking about Miss Tana Mojo and Jake Paul. Yet another problematic duo. I know. Recently, Jake Paul had a boxing match that he's been training for quite a while now. He ended up winning, and he had a big group of friends and family that were waiting for him to celebrate. Tana was also there, and they ended up partying because that is what you do in a global pandemic, apparently. Partying with hundreds of people.
I know that's what I was like, it didn't really dawn to me at first, like, what they were doing, but when they were just all celebrating this stuff and then everybody had brought it up afterwards, I'm like, oh yeah, they were throwing the party. I'm like, bro, you just, man, I guess Xboxes and PlayStations, they just don't exist. Like, I'm just saying, like, with me, I'm like, hey, look, everybody, go out, get you either the new Xbox or the old Xbox, get Grand Theft Auto. I'm gonna create an invite-only game, and we just gonna have like a virtual Grand Theft Auto party. We just gonna tear up the city of Los Santos and things, or is it considered a state? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I'm like, I just don't understand, like, why are people still throwing parties? There are people dying left and right. One of, like, my favorite actors, like, just any movie that he played in, I always enjoyed it, from whether it was Friday, Posse, what other movies has he done? He's done a lot of movies. I remember he was on an episode of Martin, but Tiny Lister. If you guys don't know who Tiny Lister is, that is one of the most, like, beloved, like, well, he wasn't really a villain in Posse. He was just more of like of a wanted man. Like, you know, he was just like an outlaw, I guess. But anyways, like, no, that dude, he was like, honestly, one of my favorite actors growing up. And then when it's like, you hear that he passed, and then plus it was because of COVID related reasons, I'm like, and then they just said a country singer just recently, all of the people that has passed away of COVID. And I'm like, why are you guys still, just because you don't have no illnesses doesn't mean like, oh yeah, you know, we could just very well just go out and just party. I see it as this. I'm like, whether I do have an illness or if I don't, because I had asthma when I was a kid, so I'm like, I'm not taking any chances. If I could wear a hazmat suit, I would, but I wear a mask everywhere. I don't go to no parties. I don't be living it up. I'm like, look, I'm at home chilling. I am doing fine, but yeah, it's just people, they still want to go out and party and stuff, and I'm like, man, you guys, something's wrong with y'all, like, because I'm saying, it's like, it's because of them. Then they go to these parties and then they're all like, oh, okay, well, you know, I took a shower, I took a bath, like, I'm okay. But I'm like, still, don't take any chances. Like, just, you know, because you don't know how that stuff could get passed around or transported back and forth to places. Like, y'all just need to be at home chilling.
Said this on Instagram saying, these videos all have me so emotional. The smiles on everyone's faces after putting our souls into this night for a year. It's so pure. Everyone has truly become a family over the years, and there wasn't a new friend in the building. Everyone was legit just screaming, hugging, crying, and counting our checks. LMFAO, shout out to Jake for knowing he wouldn't let a single one of us down. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, nobody is wearing masks or keeping distance. Jake's mom was there among young dumb influencers who can't stop partying left and right. Don't they think that this is a risk for her to be there?
It's
also,
very risk for everybody.
About everyone.
My thing is, it's like, look, you might think that, okay, like, I'm young, I should be okay. Like, look, young people have died from this, old people have died from this. I'm not taking no chances, so.
Her checks is so tone deaf right now. And she tries to make partying so emotional, and that it's this pure and deep thing. She's trying to justify it for being this
like
huge
a
bonding experience.
Random boxing
That's
match.
absolutely ridiculous. It's obvious that they don't care about any of these things that they've apologized for in regards to COVID and partying. And after that picture was posted, Christine, a former close friend of Tana, dragged her on Twitter saying, the fact that I was roommates with Tana is so insane to me. It feels like a different lifetime, LMAO. What a stupid, talentless trash. Yikes.
Hey.
Something else involving Tana, she finally came on the Call Her Daddy podcast a year later. If you don't know, Call Her Daddy, back when it had both Alex and Sophia as hosts, had invited Tana Mojo on the podcast for an episode last year. Apparently, she never showed up, got drunk the previous night, and slept in, which is obviously nothing new for her. After that, Alex and Sophia posted a vlog called Tana Mojo is Over, where they talked about how excited they were to have her on the show, but they were sitting around waiting for her for hours. And you know, Tana never shows up.
Yeah, at that point, I'm like, you know, you just gotta, like, my thing is like, I give people, like, a time. I'm like, if you're not here at this time, I'm like, especially if it's like, when it comes to, like, hanging out, I'm like, look, you ain't here at this time, I'm taking my clothes off, and I'm like, well, not like I'm putting my other clothes on. Like I'm taking my outside clothes off and then putting my indoor clothes on. But I'm just gonna sit down and play video games. Once when I turn that game on and I put my headset on and I'm pressing controller or buttons, yeah, I'm like you had me in the first half, but this second half I'm like I ain't going nowhere. So yep, I'm like maybe tomorrow or the next day or any other day after, but I'm like right now I'm content at home. So
this is a party. Anyway, over a year later, she got featured on the podcast and said that a scandal is on the way. There wasn't much tea actually, but she did mention one thing, her MTV show. This year, Tana did receive a lot of backlash on her MTV show, and honestly, the show was kind of a wake-up call for some of her audience due to the episodes getting progressively worse and worse. They showed Tana not caring about her friends, her health, her manager, and everyone that was just around her and worked for her. And when the backlash got overwhelming, Tana tried to blame it on the editing of the show. She said that they took clips out of context and that they purposely tried to make her look bad so the views were up. On the podcast, she also claimed that the producers would stage fights between her and her friends as well as scripting a lot of scenes. This could very well be true to an extent. However, if
that's what I'm like with reality TV shows. I'm like, you gotta be behind that stuff 100%. I think if I were to come out, I would come out with like a YouTube version of it. Like if I was to do like a reality like TV show or whatever, I'm being behind it 100%. So I'm all like, okay, y'all want a reality TV show? Like this is my life. Like I'm doing one season, and then at that point, I'm all like, you know, if y'all like it, cool. But if y'all don't, oh well. I'm like, I ain't signed up for this, so. Yeah, I just think that, you know, some of those reality TV shows, they can be scripted. I know I found out when I was watching, there's this like, it was that like repo show when there was like people was repossessing cars. There was two of them, Operation Repo and South Beach Tow. But then there's at times I'm like, do people really be acting like that? Because I'm like, every time when I see somebody get their cars repossessed, it's always just the person just locks the car up and they drive off. I'm like, how do you guys manage to capture all these crazy people? But anyways,
everyone around her are very good actors, especially her ex-manager Jordan. Although her behavior was repeated many times, so which one is it? Is it just MTV making Tana look bad, or maybe she really acts that way in real life? I don't know. Let me know.
Look at the cast of Jersey Shore. I'm pretty sure them people are cool.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos.
That situation was so crazy.
All right, bye.
Girl out here selling videos of herself on OnlyFans when she was like a kid. But anyways, yeah, but yeah, Tana, I think all those guys, it's just they all just weird. But anyways, that's what I was gonna say about Tana. I remember, I think I was gonna say it in a previous video when they where Ray was talking about her, but I can't remember. I might have mentioned it, I don't know. But the whole manager thing, like her, like, you know, getting rid of her manager, it does kind of remind me of a situation, and they had mentioned it was like a real situation. But and I know people would be thinking like, you know, that's kind of, you know, messed up, you comparing this high almighty figure to Tana. Like, but no, it's just more so the situation. But I don't think it's gonna end like how this other person did. But anyways, but in the All Eyes on Me movie, the biopic about Tupac, he did, and I don't necessarily know the extent of Tana's new manager, but I think it was like in that last video we was talking about them. It seemed like, you know, that they were kind of like a Suge Knight figure. I don't know, but anyways. So Tupac, he had fired his old manager, his, like, you know, told him like, yeah, pretty much you can go and things. I don't need you anymore. I got Suge Knight. And it could be a situation where, and they did mention that, like, not in the movie, but just like in documentaries and stuff, but how Tupac seen Suge Knight as like a father figure. So maybe, I don't know, Tana might see whoever this person is as a father figure. And yeah, just overall, like, that's why they signed with them. And then they got rid of the actual manager that's going to take care of them, like got them into the position that they're in today. So it's like, honestly, I feel like that. And yeah, and whoever this new manager is, I'm like, that's what I'm like, if Tana see this video, I'm like, just be careful. You know, it's like, most likely she ain't gonna see this video. But yeah, just be careful. But anyways, yeah, but it was a pretty good video. Shout out to Hot T, shout out to Ray. If you guys have it, go show her some love, go subscribe to her and all that. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace.